Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Here is a Q&A clip in response to someone asking about this question again. So I'm attaching the Q&A clip from a recent live stream session to the public on Q&As, all things Social Security. So take a listen. There might even be some extra tagged onto it of a different video, so you don't have to go searching for it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Marnie, will the SSDI payments be determined on my income exclusively or mine and my ex-husband's combined income taxes? On yours alone. It's your work history, not his. Okay. Alrighty. It doesn't matter. It's about your work. I mean, you can have a non-work, think about it this way, Marnie. You can have a non-working homemaker married to a guy that makes 100,000. She's not going to have any insured status if she didn't work sufficiently. She's not going to be able to even apply for SSDI. I actually have videos on stay-at-home moms and dads like, don't do it more than a few years. At least go get a job at the flea market on Sundays and willfully, file a tax return and declare that income that you made, even if it's cash, and pay the taxes on it. Because it's a shame when someone stays home doing the right thing, because I love being stay-at-home parent. I was a stay-at-home. I worked from home, so it kind of worked for me. But I'm a little bit of a think outside the box person since I was pretty young. And they oftentimes something happens and they become disabled. The kid's now 6, 7, going to school now, full days, public school or private school or whatever, and mom or dad could get a job, and they didn't. Or when the kid's even in the first 5 years, if you can do something to earn some income, because remember that insured status is going to expire within 5 years, then something happens and they're not able to work. They get struck by some disease or condition or a big bad accident, and they got nothing, not a thing. So they had the husband pulling in the paycheck, but I tell you, it's helpful if both people pull in a paycheck, even if it's a small one. Very part-time, Marnie, it's still under $8,000 a year and you get all 4 credits. You get the same amount of credits as someone pulling in $150,000 a year or $400,000 a year. You're not going to have the same benefit amount due from that because you paid lower premiums, but at least you paid the premiums. All right. Part-time. Marnie's saying she works part-time. Yeah, you're going to get paid based on what you put into the work life, not what your husband did. That's for his benefit if he becomes disabled or retires. Now, if you ever become widowed, God forbid, you can, if you wait till your full retirement age to collect it, that survivor benefit, you can get 100% of his. So you can eventually get his big amount instead of your own, but that's a long ways away, right? So you just saw a little clip from one of our live Q&As. It might leave you more questions, particularly if you had a little piece of that applied to you and some more facts that would make things different. If you do, feel free to put a comment down below about the extra details, and we could maybe even make a video on the particular aspects of that you'd be interested in. So in any event, I hope to see you on Wednesdays, 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also 9:00 a.m. every day. We have a share from the field, so to speak, of things that happen in our workday. So hope to see you then, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Good afternoon. I want to give a bit of a shout out to stay-at-home moms or dads who raise their kids from home, particularly when they're young. And before they're in school. But I also want to give a little advisement here. If you are out of work, it doesn't matter the reason. You're not getting paid, you're not paying Social Security taxes on wages that you've earned, you are going to become uninsured for Social Security disability if you had ever become insured already. Or you're going to remain uninsured. Believe it or not, it happens, and it's not all that rare, that a stay-at-home parent, their Social Security disability expires while they're staying home, keeping the home and keeping all the members of the family up and running and doing their thing, which is fabulous. But the downfall is if something happens to that stay-at-home parent, where they later on, when they wish to go out and seek to work, perhaps they cannot because something has happened. They became under a condition or some injury or illness, and they literally cannot work any job. They can't do anything 8 hours a day, even simple sedentary, unskilled type of work activity. I see them file for Social Security disability and they're told they can't because they are not insured and were not insured at the time they became disabled. So there are there are ways to prevent that from happening. It's really like hedging your bets in the event that could happen to you. So while you're a stay-at-home parent, give some thought to a part-time job, W-2, or self-employment or contracting or gig work, where you can earn this year, 2023, it will be $6,560, which will cause you, if you pay your taxes, file your returns, and pay the tax on that amount or more for the whole year. So you don't have to earn that in a month or 6 months. You got 12 months and you pay the taxes. That's going to get you all 4 quarters of Social Security credits that year. And I have another video on what that is, and I'll try to link it below. But if you did this or even did half that amount, but you can't go slightly below half that amount is going to get you 2 of the annual credits. And to maintain insured status, that's really all you need if you keep that up sufficiently. And how sufficiently that is how much you worked before you stopped working. You know, were you making your 4 credits or not? But if you stop working and you, in rather short order, certainly before you run out of insured status, start earning those credits again. It could be a part-time job on weekends. It could be when the other parent is home watching the kids. It can be summer work, whatever, evening work, weekend. It doesn't matter as long as you do it. And it's very part-time to earn $65.60 and get all those 4 credits. But what that means is if you later, I mean, some people stay home for 18 years till their kids are out of high school. Some only stay out till they're in, you know, kindergarten. Others go a bit longer because they have other needs. Maybe they have another younger child after the first one gets to school, and it can really extend that time home. But if you don't do something very part-time to earn those credits, you could find yourself uninsured for Social Security disability. By the way, that might also vastly impact your Social Security retirement, without a doubt. Even working very little will, but not as much as not working at all. But I'm really focused on the Social Security disability because life happens, and there is not a tiny percentage of us that become disabled before 62. And if you're going to be one of them, and if it happens when you least expect it, you're going to find yourself not being able to file for Social Security disability, which you would have otherwise been able to do, and it helps contribute to the family income by having that. And the only reason you didn't have that opportunity was because you maybe didn't know that if you had just worked a very minor part-time each year, and again, it could be self-employment. You could get some gig going on or something you sell as a business where your work activity you're getting taxed on. Maybe you create something and you can sell it. Maybe you do online work while you're home with the kids. They have content writing and all sorts of things, customer service. Obviously, I know you're going to want to be potentially part-time doing that. I mean, I was fortunate. I worked from a home office all through my child rearing, which I'm still engaging in. So I worked excessive hours, but it was from home and I could make them flexible to what I needed 99% of the time. But all you need is very part-time. And I'd like to see no one ever not get disability benefits that ever worked for them, because that recency test cannot be met because they stayed home and didn't earn and file those tax returns with their work activity, not your spouse's work activity. That doesn't help you. So if you have any questions on that, reach out to me. I'm going to try to link this to the other video on credits and how to gain them back. But I wanted to specifically point out, because the stay-at-home parent can find themselves in a real bad jam later on. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody. So anyway, chat with you next time. Bye.